Hi, folks, it's Paul Ryan. Last week, I looked at the origins of the banjo. It came from Western Africa and was played from the mid-19th century as an instrument in the South. During the early 20th century, a number of banjo builders came to the forefront: Vega, Fairbanks, Bacon, others. The banjo became used in jazz music, minstrel shows, and of course later on in folk music and bluegrass. Last week we took a close look at the S.S. Stewart banjos specifically, and in my opinion, Stewart was the banjo that served as a bridge, no pun intended, to the instruments of today. By 1918 in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Orville Gibson was building banjos. A foreman of his on staff at Gibson, Victor Kraske, had a patent on the 5-string banjo with an 11-inch hollow rim, tubular bracketing, and a dowel to rim adjuster. And by November 1920, Gibson introduced their Style 2 model. Over the next few years, Gibson made further adjustments to improve their banjos. And by February 1925, imagine that, 100 years ago, they released a banjo with full resonator, back and sides, a spring-loaded ball bearing tone chamber. The first announcement of the Mastertone name as a style designation appeared in the July 1925 price list, and one model in particular was called the Granada. Later that year, all the Mastertone models received a makeover with new fiddle-shaped peg heads, a cupped flange-mounted resonator. With this new design, Gibson finally had a banjo to be proud of. And more players wanted to play a Mastertone. I think that for many banjo enthusiasts, this marks the beginning of the Mastertone era. By mid-1925, the name was moved from the peg head to an engraved pearl block at the end of the fingerboard, where it remains today, or when they made the last banjo. Gibson continued to improve its designs, and 2 decades later, Mastertones with the one-piece flange, the flathead tone ring, would become the holy grail for bluegrass players. Aside from reinventing the way the banjo was played, these Mastertone banjos provided exceptional tone and were far ahead of other banjo makers of the time. To this day, some say that the tone of a Mastertone is tough to match. My banjo is a Mastertone Earl Scruggs or ESS, but it's been upgraded, so it's got a better than factory tone ring, and I've got other superior replacements, all to add to its tone. What I'll do now is I'll just grab it to give an idea of the tone. Put in these finger picks, a little different than putting your hands on a flat pick for a guitar. These finger picks take a while to put on. So I'll put some finger picks on and hope this isn't too loud for this mic. Anyway, this is my Mastertone. Oh yeah, that's popping, isn't it? I'm going to move back a bit. It could play soft, or it could play harsh. That's the Mastertone. Putting it back now. It'll give you drive. It'll play soft. I can't say why other players like the Mastertone models, but for me, it's mostly the sound. It's a beautiful banjo, don't get me wrong, but that crack you hear when playing it, also the combination of tone, the ease of playing, and it's visually appealing. In the late 1930s, singer-songwriter Bill Monroe formed his band, the Bluegrass Boys. The band is credited with being at the very root of today's bluegrass music. Bluegrass evolved from the rural music that we talked about a couple of shows back with the Bristol session, and it incorporates a wide variety of influences and emphasizes instrumental virtuosity and improvised solo breaks. These were not prevalent in old-time music up until that time. When Earl Scruggs replaced the original Bluegrass Boys banjo player Stringbean Aikman in 1945, the bluegrass sound fully emerged. Aikman played the older style clawhammer and rarely took improvised solos. Scruggs, he was a three-finger-up virtuoso picker who soloed frequently and took banjo to brand new heights with his eighth-note patterns called rolls that remain popular today. His banjo was a Gibson Mastertone Granada. In an earlier show, I covered Tony Rice and Jerry Douglas as instrumentalists who changed the way acoustic music and bluegrass is played. Well, Scruggs is on that list too. To me, he's a pioneer who brought bluegrass music to a whole new level and banjo to a whole new level. For me personally, Scruggs was a childhood hero. And when I actually met him, I found him to be the most down-to-earth, nicest person possible. Before leaving modern banjos, I'd be remiss if we didn't also cover deer-ring banjos. These are gorgeous and fine-playing instruments. Deer-ring have been at the forefront of banjos and offer a wide range of products, all with superb craftsmanship. I've played them at our local music store, and it delivers a clear, sweet, and round sound. In 2006, their new 06 tone ring was introduced, and a new era in strong, fundamental banjo tone was born. Again, chasing tone, but this time it was a maker, not a player. Remember back when I covered S.S. Stewart's belief that the banjo as an instrument belonged in orchestras? When Deering hired a great banjo player, Jens Kruger, to play their banjos, he performed with orchestras around the world. So you could say that Deering banjos knit the past to the present by bringing reality to the S.S. Stewart's dream of having the instrument viewed as an orchestral instrument. It took 100 years, but it happened. Before switching back to the overall music industry, I'll spend one more session on acoustic music. So next, I'll look at another instrument that grew out of the old Appalachian music and today has had a major impact on acoustic, bluegrass, and folk music. That is the dreadnought guitar. I'll look at three builders with guitars who have shaped the sound of the modern acoustic flat top. And today's something special, a hymn, the Ave Maria. Everyone's got their favorite piece of music, right? And for me, the Ave Maria is right at the very top. This is my instrumental version. This is the Schubert version, and I did my best to honor the Ave Maria's solemn beauty throughout. Hope you enjoy the Ave Maria.
So after last week on the musical life of Freddie Spaghetti, we know he's been very busy with his music. What's he up to today?
Freddie checks his YouTube numbers every single day, only to discover that there's been very little action. He makes a second video. This one, it's got to look different, sound different, and in every single way the opposite of the first video. This one is a video for Talking Man. Since the theme is internet dating, Freddie decides to use a lot of dynamics in the video. Maybe that'll appeal to the younger crowd? Days pass. Nothing. Nada. What do the pros do? He asks Sam down at the music store, but Sam, he's from a different era, way before YouTube, so he can't help. Maybe Bob Hackett, that country singer, maybe he can help. Freddie had visited Hackett once to play some songs and ask him about the music business. And the country singer once had a record deal, a top 100 country song, so Freddie looks upon him as a mentor of sorts. Freddie's to visit Hackett in a few days. In the meantime, he joins a musician chat room online. He searches his phone for social media sites and other online places where musicians hang out looking for anyone with answers to a low YouTube number. Finally, he goes to Google and he types in the words, quote, low YouTube views, end quote. A few articles pop up, but nothing seems to address his situation. In Freddie's mind, he has good music and pretty good videos too. The harder he looks for answers, the more like an incoherent maze the YouTube issue seems to be. One singer-songwriter posted on X that her YouTube channel was only getting a few plays each month. Her post read, quote, help, is my music that bad? End quote. She went on to provide details that to Freddie mirrored his own situation, but her post was only read by 4 people, 4. And it had been posted a year before and received no replies. Maybe there is no answer to the YouTube issue. That thought enters Freddie's mind. But he tries to stay optimistic by reminding himself that he still has Hackett to weigh in, and maybe the girl's music wasn't all that good anyway. So Freddie calms himself down by thinking, geez, no one's answered her. Oh well, at least one other person is in the same boat as me.
On behalf of Paul and Ryan Tunes, thank you for listening to this week's Sound Threads. Please check us out next week for another round of Sound Threads.